Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the heathen, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in this law that say, I did the sunrise and sundown. Him will go there like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bringeth forth fruit in the season. Him live never I will wither, and whatsoever him doeth shall prosper. Yea! The heathen them now, they saw them there like a chaff, which the wind driveth away. Therefore the heathen them never go turn upon judgment, nor see them on them in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord God Jah loveth the way of the righteous, and the way of the sinner man them always and always. I go perish. Let the people of the Most High God say, Jah! Kadama we gromabea tela exact beer tanaistalin abba shante 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 kadama we gromabea tela where two centuries meet in the name of the Most High Jah and that's so Jaja there. If Jaja never build up your house, the builder I go build it in vain same way. If Jaja never watch upon your house, the watchman I go watch it in vain. The name of the Lord is a strong tower, and the righteous run into it and them is safe. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Jah shall deliver him from all of them. And I give thanks and I say unto your name, King of kings and Lord of lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Amasa Yahuda, Amasa, Negusto, Daniel, Komaya Sataya, Aimana Pio, Aya. Kramawe, Grumawe, Ate, La E. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushodomo, where we speak truth to power. And my name, Blakk Rasta. In every traditional African home, there is a black pot, and each time this black pot sits on the fire, there is something super sumptuous cooking. Yes, there's a collaborative effort between the black pot and wonderful ingredients that find their way into the black pot. Now they put aside all their differences of shapes, size, aromas, and even flavors, so they can relocate into the black pot, be subjected to some amount of heating, and then they produce food. Interestingly, this food does not even benefit the black pot, neither does it benefit the ingredients, but the food rather benefits us, the eaters. That is why we say that this black pot is very symbolical of the African continent, and the ingredients also represent us. Selflessly, we must always collaborate to be able to bring development to our people, our continent, our land. We must put aside all the differences we have, differences of faith, creed, and even religion, and even skin tone. This is the new Africa. It is the Joshua generation, the tree planting generation. We have to plant trees. We have planted tomatoes, onions for far too long. It's time now to plant trees. We know we might not live long enough to benefit from the shade of the trees or the fruits of the trees. But remember, all the trees whose shade we enjoy right now were planted by people who did not live long enough to benefit from these shades and all the fruits, but they still went ahead to plant them. We are enjoying that. It will also benefit us in a way if the next generation benefits from our work selflessly. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunemo. Here we speak truth to power, and we are live on Pan-African TV, Africa's only Pan-African TV. We are also live on Loud Silence TV, super live on Black Empire TV. We are also live on Ghana Web TV. And the good thing is that we are on YouTube, and I need you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then you click on the notification so you don't miss anything we bring out to you. From Monday to Friday, we unleash a lot of stories on our people. And it's all in the spirit of building our wonderful continent, Africa. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunum. Remember, our numbers are also running on your screens. All you need to do is to pick the numbers and talk to us. Do you have some valuable information that you think we have to break? Do you think that this information is going to benefit the whole nation? Now, another good thing is that when you pick up the numbers, you will also be doing business with us. The more your business prospers, the more we also prosper. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonamo. And the first story we are treating today is coming up. It says what? Watch it. It says, judge runs away for his life from Tongraan. Now, the Tongraan is the king of Tongo. And Tongo is predominantly Talensi. Tongraan is not happy. The judge is also not happy. What is the problem? Now, when you go to Tongo, it's a very beautiful place. We have a very powerful shrine there called Baba Tongo. A lot of the people in the north and some other parts of Africa know about this powerful shrine. So they go there to receive power. They go there with their problems. In fact, the overlord of the whole area, known as Tongo, is known as the Tongraan. In fact, it's almost like saying Tongoura, Tongo Lana. That is who he is. He's very powerful. And the interesting thing is that they have discovered some gold and some other minerals in the area. And we have some Chinese people in there who are mining this gold, of course, with the permission of Tongraan and some other authorities like that. I think they call the Chinese people Jiangxi or something. Watch what is happening in the news. Roll the guns. Watch this. And I'm reading this from Ghana Web. Come here. Let's deal with it. It says what? Judge who exposed Tongraan secret plot flees after attack on his residence. Judge who exposed Tongraan's secret plot flees after attack on his residence. Now let us look at this story. The presiding judge of the High Court 2 in Bolgatanga, Justice Alexander Graham, has fled the Upper East region following the sudden raid on his Bolgatanga residence by some men on Wednesday night. Sources say the men, who are as unknown as the motive of their attack for now, hurled stones at the house, prompting the judge's bodyguard to call for reinforcement. When the men sensed that a security team was on the way to the scene, they left the area at once. Soldiers took over the premises of the residence and provided security for the judge overnight. It was gathered that the Chief Justice, Kwesi Enin Yabua, upon receiving information about the development, told the judge to proceed to Accra without delay. At dawn on Thursday, the judge was escorted by the soldiers to the Tamale International Airport and was flown to Accra. The attack comes less than a week after Justice Graham convicted 2 men sent to him by the paramount chief of Talensi, Tongraan Nalembenteng Kumbilsong. What a powerful name. Oh my God. Now the 2 men, the chief of Bari, Nab Nyakoramanti, the secretary to Tongraan, Richard Sunday Yingbil, entered the judge's chambers on Friday, Monday 10, 2023, and told him that Tongraan had requested to have a private meeting with him at his palace at 9 a.m. the following day. They said the purpose of the proposed meeting was for the Tongraan to offer the judge more details on some mining-related lawsuits which had been filed from Talensi at his court. In a swift response to the message from the palace, the judge stormed out of the chambers and ordered police officers who were in the courtroom at the time to arrest and handcuff the 2 men immediately. Speaking to the audience in the courtroom, Justice Graham described the move by the palace as an attempt to influence his decision on the cases before him. Minutes later, the men were charged with contempt and put on trial. They pleaded guilty and were convicted on their own plea. The judge appeared prepared to send the accused persons to jail. But about 12 lawyers who were in the courtroom at the time for different cases intervened for prayers for mitigation on behalf of the two men. Adding his voice, one of the lawyers, Mohammed Damanku Abdullahi, told the judge that the Tongraan had communicated with him by phone expressing regrets for his action and asking him to plead on behalf of his agents. In the end, the judge ordered the accused persons to sign a bond of good behavior at the Upper East Regional Police Command for a period of 6 months. Courtrooms empty. The High Court too did not sit on Thursday in the wake of Wednesday's violent attack. Currently, the High Court one equally has not been in session for some time because its presiding judge, Justice Charles Wilson J, is on leave. Meanwhile, anti-corruption group National Patriots Against Injustice and Corruption, Ghana, condemned the attack on Justice Graham and indicated that it will convene a news conference soon on the development. The attack on Justice Graham, whom many observers say has remained incorruptible throughout his career as a judge, is similar to the attack visited on the residence of an investigative journalist, Edward Ndeti, in 2019 in Bolgaba, an unknown gang, following the resignation of Roxin Ayini Bukari from government as a minister of state at the presidency. Bukari has sought to kill an investigative story initiated by Adeti, who had uncovered a scandal involving a High Court judge, Justice Jacob Bawene Boone, and Shangzi Mining Company Limited, a Talensi-based Chinese firm now known as L International Group Ghana Gold Limited. So it's Shangzi. Now it's called L. Shangzi was having a case with Cassius, an Australian mining company, before Justice Boone. At the time of Adeti's investigation, Adeti caught officials of Shangzi in several private meetings with Justice Boone. Wow. Come here. So Tongraan sought to influence Judge Graham. And this is a very sad development. You see, in these times when judges are taking goats and small amounts of money, freeing hardened criminals, rapists, and robbers, the work of Justice Graham, the demeanor of Justice Graham must be applauded. Now, this is a very wonderful justice of the High Court, and he's doing all he can to protect the law and also to protect the profession of judges, lawyers, and the rest. They are called the legal people, to protect the legal profession. Now, if a whole Tongraan who has been cited in one or two controversies in the past concerning this same Shangzi would want the whole judge to leave the courtroom and come to his palace so he would discuss with him, giving him more information about a certain case that has been brought before him, that is unethical and is not befitting of a Tongraan. Now, if you have information you want to give the judge, why don't you put it into writing and add it as part of your evidence, whatever it is, and give it out? It will be appreciated because it's in writing. Now you are inviting the man because you are Tongraan, you are powerful, so he should come and sit before you so that you teach him his work, or what? It's so unfortunate that our own Tongraan is behaving like this. I mean, you are a man of repute. A lot of people respect you. Even though in the past you have been cited in some controversies which we do not want to mention on TV, you still are a man who is so respected, and I have visited this palace before on my tour of Tongo. Now, if this is what is happening, then I am really, really sad. Now, in the Upper East region of Ghana, we heard about, in fact, a mining outfit that exploded and killed a number of people. Did they give them the right compensation? In Shangzi, some other people have been involved in such terrible accidents. Have they been compensated properly? Has Tongraan sat down properly to engage all parties and made sure that they were compensated? Or did they rather go to court? We need to look at all these things. What's Tongraan doing to be able to improve the livelihoods of the people in the area? As the overlord of Tongo and its surrounding areas, what is Tongraan doing positively to impact the lives of the people of the area? These days, all our chiefs are so interested in just selling land, especially if they find land that has some gold on it. Then you realize that everybody is running helter-skelter from China and some other places coming to the area, and the indigenous are totally forgotten. Now it's all about making money into their private pockets. Remember that without the people, in fact, you are only taking a walk. You are not leading anybody. Think about it. But for Justice Graham, I want to say thank you so much. You have lived to the utmost bidding. And I want to say thank you. You are the kind of people we need. No intimidation is going to stop this man from standing astute. No intimidation is going to get this man out of his profession. And I tell you, in these times, these are the people we need. Kudos. I will support you, and we condemn to the very letter the corrupt-minded Tongraan and his agents who invited this great man over to the palace to corrupt him. It's condemnable. And the people of Tongo should condemn this. It doesn't make sense. Our chiefs and kings must leave a very good example for the people. Now you have power. So the more power you have, the more corrupt you want to be. No, sir. Leave a legacy that will stand the test of time and outlive you so other people can talk about you, just as we talk about our great kings and queens in the past. Enshrine your name in that list. But if you want to be corrupt and get involved in deals with foreigners to the detriment of your people, I don't think that you can be in that list. It's most unfortunate. To the people of Tongo, please support the courts and support justice and fight corruption. This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushonamo. And here we speak truth to power. Next story. KKD suspects government victimization. Who is KKD? Kwesi Che Dakwa, the fashionista, a veteran radio broadcaster. In fact, this was the man in the days. He played very good music on radio. He even taught the English language on radio, the Queen's English. He was a man who was so sleek. Everybody loved him in the days. In fact, he is still the man. A lot of people love him. Recently, he was involved in a controversy, a rape controversy, but he said sexual intercourse he had with a lady involved in the thing was consensual. But it looks like he's been able to weather the storm. He apologized to the lady who pulled out the case from the courts. And it looked like they have been able to come to some amicability. Now, the interesting thing we need to look here, to look at very seriously, is the fact that KKD is not just an ordinary broadcaster. He is somebody who has made a name for himself in the past. Even though he's no longer on radio, he's a man the fashion world, especially in Ghana, cannot ignore. He's always sleekly dressed. This is a man who knows fashion. Yes, there was another controversy. His son came out of the closet. What does it mean? He said he was gay. Photos of this young man flooded the internet in women's clothing, wearing wigs, painted his lips all red. And you know how it is when Ghanaians hear about gays, in fact, Africans in general. A lot of Africans, a majority of Africans do not want to hear anything LGBTQI plus or minus. They are not interested. And KKD, a man so vociferous, had his son come out of the closet and say, I am gay, even though living in England, where KKD himself was domiciled. It was crazy. KKD had to move from one station to the other, granting interviews And in almost all the interviews, he was asked about his gay son. It hurt him because he himself is not gay. But he says he's still my son and I love him. Oh, yes. He said it time and again. Now, a little bit more about KKD so you know exactly who this man is. In the days, there was no event that was successful without KKD being the MC. And every time he took the microphone, everybody wanted to hear him pronounce impeccable English words. Better still, pronounce English words with so much impeccability. That is KKD for you. He's still that slick gentleman. He's still emceeing a lot of shows. He does a lot of voiceovers. He's still in the fashion business. And recently, he became vocal again, talking against his own political party. And I'm talking about the NPP, the party in government. He supported them in the past. But now he says that, listen, the party is not doing well. And he was on several platforms. He made the news all over Ghana. And the government's own radio station, GTV, oh yes, GTV, Ghana TV, seemed to have banned him. At least that was what he thought. He said, oh yes, the people have gagged me. They do not want me on Ghana TV. But remember, he himself started his whole career at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, where he held the whole country down with his quality music and very beautiful programming. Every morning, he brought us everyday English. And some of us who were students will never miss that program for all the rice in China, nor all the gold in El Dorado. But look at the headlines. Watch the headlines. Watch this. It says, GBC, that's the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, calls out KKD for claiming government instructed them to take him off their show. Come here. Hey. So GTV, GBC came together, in fact, to respond. Now, hear me now. Listen. Now, GBC is the mother station. That's the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. And the GBC, we have the radio and we have the TV nationwide. Everywhere you go in Ghana, we have a radio station representing Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. In fact, we respect the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation because it's fed us with quality news from that time up till now. Now look at what the story says. Veteran Ghanaian broadcaster Kwesi Dakwa, popularly called KKD, has alleged that the New Patriotic Party, led by President Nana Addo Dankwa, has instructed the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, GBC, to take him off as a panelist of their morning show, a claim the state broadcasting has denied. Wow. KKD disclosed this in an interview on Onua TV with Captain Smart, where he noted that his constant criticism of the ruling government moved persons in higher authority to halt his calls for a better Ghana. The media personality has boldly called the government to act on countless occasions as a guest on GBC's morning show hosted by Kafui Day. They have asked them not to allow me there, and that is why I have not been there. If they deny saying this, let them ask the Director General of GTV and the producers at GTV about what they told me that has made me not go there again, he explained, addressing the claim that has caught the public's attention. The GBC vehemently denied ever taking KKD off their programs to please the government as purported. If this statement is truly coming from Kwesi Dakwa, it will be unfortunate. The claim is not true and can only be a product of his imagination. Parts of the statement read, adding that it will be unlawful for government to determine who comes on our platforms. Wow. The letter explained that action can be taken against a panelist who goes against their rules. We also retire panelists who over time change their style of discourse into a form that is unbefitting of GBC's editorial guidelines. So GBC actually took him off. And GBC is trying to explain why they took him. And you can find it here, even though a little maxed, a little veiled. We also retire panelists who over time change their style of discourse into a form that is unbefitting of GBC's editorial guidelines. So in other words, blame GTV's editors, not the government. Now read the full statement below. The management of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, operators of GTV, of TV, has taken note of a news item purported to be caused by Kwesiche Dakwa, alleging that the government instructed GBC not to allow him to appear on TV. If this statement is truly coming from Kwesiche Dakwa, it will be unfortunate. The claim is not true and can only be a product of his imagination. Management of GBC wishes to put it on record that the corporation does not take instructions from the government when it comes to content production. Management is fully aware that it will be unlawful for government to determine who comes on our platforms. GBC is guided by the ethics of public service broadcasting journalism. We do not allow our guests to make allegations against their persons, other persons who are not present or do not have the immediate opportunity to respond. We are also not into adversarial journalism, and panelists who adopt a combative style of discourse are not accommodated on GBC's network. GBC provides opportunities to panelists of all political persuasions to speak on our platforms and may retire them when there is a change in our content plan. Bring their press release. Watch it. That's what they said. That's the whole press release. Now come here. Come here. Now I am interested in this. We all know that this is a matter of semantics. In fact, it's a nice way of telling a lie. We all know that GBC is controlled by the government. That's true. You can embellish it, garnish it, and say everything you want to say is unto you. We all know you. Our tax is what is keeping GBC going, or else GBC would have been dead long ago. Old men and old women who dye their hair night and day, like the 80-year-old man who wants to be president and is running around doing a junto with not even one single gray hair. When they are in there, they change their ages. Somebody is there in one of their offices around, more. In fact, a lot of them. He's 70, but on paper, he's 32. He's been 32 all these years. Go there and see the number of old men and old women. When young men strive to be able to rise, they go to school, improve themselves, grab master's degrees, and come back. They increase their salary by 7 cedis. You know how much 7 cedis is? 7 cedis is less than 50 cents American dollar. You leave GBC. Go and put value on yourself. Return to the outfit. And some of our colleagues there tell us, oh, we came back, and then they wrote a nice letter thanking us and saying that, oh, they are congratulating us, but they have increased our salary by 50 cents. What joke is this? Listen, until now, when people like Kafuide and maybe 1 or 2 other people were brought on to bring some kind of quality onto GTV, listen, this is our station. So we are talking about GBC. It is our tax that is keeping it. It's not like a private station. The stations were dead. Who was listening to GBC? Who was watching GTV? At the time that GTV monopolized the airwaves, whether you liked it or not, you had to listen to GBC. We were all shackled under GBC. But with the influx of private radio, GBC became almost a non-existent entity. Let's be real. Last time I went to GTV, they didn't even have a digital player With all these softwares that play music now, Serato, virtual DJ, and all that. No, they were still playing cassette and CD. When was the last time? You want me to say 20 years or 30 years ago? No, only last year or 2 years ago. Why? Why are you doing this to us? It's because it is controlled by old men and old women who are not ready for progressiveness. And I'm speaking as a Ghanaian. If your press release is saying that, okay, you editorially, you have to deal with 1 or 2 people, did you warn KKD? Did you ever sit him down to say, hey, the way you are going, we don't like it, and if you continue like that, we may have to take you off? Did you do that? All of a sudden, boom, editorially, he's not fit anymore. His utterances are unbefitting. Meanwhile, he used to give you the numbers. He used to give you the numbers. Even me, once or twice, I was on GTV, and there were people in there who didn't like the fact that I was outspoken. It's this kind of journalism that we have done that we are almost dead. Dead. And 1 or 2 sharp guys in there realized that they had to bring in some fresher limbs. And they brought people like Kafuide and the rest of them. All of a sudden, they are bringing in people like KKD and some other wits. Very wittiful people to come in and put the energy in there. Or else GPC was totally dead. Old men and women who will come and sit down and tell Anansi stories. I'm not against old people, don't get me wrong. But I'm looking at how we can move with the times. Old men and old women are very important. But when old men and old women were young, they also saw some other people as old. So let's give the chance to fresher people when the time is up. Do not reduce your age because you want to stay longer. You are punishing the people and you are not doing things that will glorify the nation. You are a criminal when you do that. And it's in these government institutes, government institutions, government corporations. These are the places where we have people reducing their ages. These are the places. Because by 60 years, you have to go home and sleep. He looks left, he looks right. Oh, he's realized that he hasn't saved enough money. Oh, let me change my date of birth. He will reduce it by 20. Swear a new affidavit and say, oh, I was born in a village in Pesingpe and the priest there wrote the wrong date of birth. In fact, I'm 20 years younger. They are there. Some of them die from stroke in there. Most of them also stay in there throwing juju at each other. Primitive minds. Every time we read about GBC, until now, that they are introducing fresh limbs in there. Who listens to GBC? Who listens to GBC? Who watches GTV? GBC has done its part in the past. Good. But GBC is refusing to move with the times. And that is what we're talking about. If KKD has been silenced, that is what it is. But KKD, this is not the only place. Well, the Pulse also says GBC confirms taking off KKD from GTV screens. And they state reasons why they did that. We just read that. When we return, we have more to discuss with you. This is the Blakk Report, a.k.a. Kukushonomo, where we speak truth to power. Hey! Wayo!
Blakk Report, Kukushonomo.
This It's the Black Pot, aka Kukushonamo, where we speak truth to power. Next worry. Next worry. Next worry. Arrest warrant for Putin issued. Come here. Hey, who can arrest Putin? The president of the world. The man everybody says is the terrorist. In fact, he's more of a terrorist than Osama bin Laden, according to what we read in the Western media. This is the man. I've never seen him smiling. Can anybody share a photo with me? Putin smiling. No, he doesn't smile. The devil never smiles. So maybe because he doesn't smile, they have slapped the devil label on him. Is he that bad? Is he a bad man? Well, the president of Ghana says he's a bad man. He has sent Wagner, mercenaries. You know who mercenaries are? Killers. Wagner, mercenaries all over Burkina Faso. And they are wallowing around the borders of Ghana. And the president says, like a house nigger, we don't want him. You know, we truly don't want him. We've always supported America, and we hope America will come and support us. Within no time, the vice president of America is coming here. Harris, Vice President Harris is coming here. Maybe he's coming to be able to go and check on the Wagner issue. I don't know. But there is an arrest warrant for Putin. Who issued that? Who has the power to do that? And for what? Oh, okay. It's from the International Criminal Court. My God. Cour Penal International. Ha! Let's look at the story. Watch it. ICC, International Criminal Court, issues arrest warrant for Putin over war crime allegations. Come here, my lord. Come here, my lord. The International Criminal Court, ICC, has issued an arrest warrant for Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, the court alleges he's responsible for war crimes, including the unlawful deportation of children from Ukraine to Russia. It says the crimes were committed in Ukraine at least from the 24th of February 2022, when Russia launched its full-scale invasion. Moscow has denied allegations of war crimes during the invasion. Now, the ICC has charged Mr. Putin with being involved in the deportation of children and says it has reasonable grounds to believe he committed the acts directly as well as working with others. The court also said the Russian leader failed to exercise his rights to stop others who deported children. Russia's commissioner for children's rights, Maria Belova, is also wanted by the ICC. A Russian foreign ministry spokesperson said the arrest warrants are meaningless. I asked, who has the power to issue an arrest warrant over the biggest terrorist of the world, according to the West? Now, the decisions of the International Criminal Court have no meaning for our country, including from a legal point of view. Maria Zakharova wrote on Telegram. This is because, despite the warrants, the ICC has no powers to arrest suspects and can only exercise jurisdiction within countries who are signed up to the agreement that set up the court. You see what I was asking? Which entity has the powers? Does the ICC have the powers to do that? What are the lawyers? Who knows what I'm talking about? Who knows what I'm talking about? Do you know? Do you understand that? Russia is not a signatory to that agreement. So it is unlikely either will be extradited. Interesting. Wow. Putin, come here. Hi, this is Russia's big gun. We don't like the invasion of Ukraine. We thought that there could have been a dialogue. It's caused a lot of problems around the world. It's made people cough out a lot of money to support Ukraine against Russia. We heard about the atrocities. We heard about the killings. We heard about the slaughtering. We heard about the bloodshed. Was it a political discourse gone wrong? Could they have had a dialogue? What is the problem? Now, Russia is one superpower of the world. Will this president, who is seen to be crazy, a president who is tagged with the crazy label, sit down and allow the ICC to come and handcuff him and take him away? I'm speaking tongue in cheek. Without unleashing those missiles that will end our lives? Are we looking for Third World War? Of course, if Putin is wrong, no matter how powerful he is, he must be brought to book. But how do you bring Putin to book? Is it through an arrest? That's force. Or through a dialogue? Or have we tried the dialogue and it failed? I am not a fan of Putin. No. Because of things Putin did in the past. But I do not hate Putin. Same way, I am not a big fan of Ukraine. Because I know atrocities that the Ukrainians have also meted out to the world, including Africans. If you know the story of Ukraine, you will not be so much in a hurry. Yes, you will not be in so much of a hurry to applaud Ukraine. If Russia is a demon, then Ukraine is a super demon. But that notwithstanding, the invasion is wrong. These are two brothers who are fighting. They used to belong to one country. Then all of a sudden, ego set in. They decided to separate. And now, one feels like, oh, you used to be part of us. So you continue to be our what? Colony. Crimea. That part of Ukraine called Crimea, that was forcefully taken by Russia. And all that. We could go so much into that. But again, I'm asking, is dialogue not the answer? Should we always use force? Or has dialogue failed? Which are the countries Russia respects? Can we unleash those countries on Russia so they could sit down and talk rather than going in there with force and causing the whole world to go down on its knees? Look what is happening already. Two countries are at war and the whole world is shaking. This must be two very powerful countries. We are in Africa. We see 10, 20 countries fighting and nothing happens. Everybody is walking. You're walking and guns are blazing and firing. You don't seem to know and even care. But two countries only are shaking their weights around and the whole world is breaking down. It means that we have to be very careful when we are dealing with this Russia-Ukraine thing. Again, I don't like the invasion, but I do not support violence in solving any problem. This is the Blakk Pot, a.k.a. Kukushuno, where we speak truth to power. When we return, we got more. Hey!
Blakk Pot, Kukushuno.
This is the Black Pot, aka Kuku Shodo, where we speak truth to power. Remember, we are on YouTube. And I would like you to do me a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's called Black Empire Media. And click on the notification button. I will be happy. Now make sure that you click on the notification button as well, so that any story we release, you'll be privy to that and get to be abreast with time. Here, we don't do politics. What we do is called patriotism. And we are looking at the mindset of the African. That is our main aim, to deal with the mindset of the average African. And if the mindset is right, every other aspect of Africa will be right there. Come here. Next story. Next story we are looking at is interesting. It says judicial terrorism versus investigative terrorism. Change it to investigative, not investigated. Investigative terrorism. So we are dealing with judicial terrorism and investigative terrorism. Now that word came into being, or that phrase came into being, when Justice Eric Ban said that Anas Armiyao Anas is not an investigative journalist, but an investigative terrorist. He went ahead to endorse very terrible adjectives given to Anas Armiyao Anas. Blackmailer. In other words, he blackmails. In other words, he's an extortionist. He extorts money from people. At the same time, he is a murderer. And so on and so forth. Justice Eric Ban, a few days back, said that Anas Armiyao Anas is not engaged in investigative journalism, but investigative terrorism. But there's somebody who thinks that our judicial system has some judges in there who are also engaged in not judicial justice, but judicial terrorism. And he's another ace journalist from Bongo. He proudly calls himself the Bongo boy. This is Manasseh Azure Awuni. He was whisked away into South Africa in the days of Nana Akufo-Addo, when his life was threatened because of journalistic pieces that he released. This is Manasseh, the Bongo boy. He came from abject poverty, but refused to be corrupted. This is one of the faces of anti-corruption we have in Ghana. And he has made his mind known. We are going to be very brief with this. It's a long article published by My Joy Online. We're going to pick bits and pieces of that and look at that. And we'll see exactly what he is talking about. Come here. Manasseh Azure Awuni, judicial terrorism versus investigative terrorism. Bring back that. Bring it back. And look at investigative terrorism. That one is in quotes. Bring the story. What does the story say? It hurts when judges are lumped, take off the label, are lumped together and tarred with the same brush of indignity and scorn. I am not a judge, but it hurts because I have been in courtrooms and observed judges who deliver justice with such diligence, thoroughness, and professionalism that I could feel their pain when the action of a few judges drags all judges in the mud. One such instance is the toxic social media commentary about the judiciary in the wake of the judgment in the defamation case Anas Armiyao Anas brought against the MP for Asin Central, Canada, Japan. When someone first shared excerpts of the judgment on a WhatsApp platform, my immediate comment was to caution those commenting not to attack Anas until they had read the judgment. Until then, until they had read the judgment. Well, until they had read the judgment, yes. I insisted that what was posted was more like someone's personal commentary and slant than what was contained in the judgment. In my wildest imagination, I did not think a judge who was called to adjudicate a defamation case would descend into an arena of criminal pronouncements and write a judgment that reads as though the judge was now making fresh defamatory comments against the plaintiff. Wow. Having followed the case a bit, however, the outcome did not come as a surprise. Unfortunately, Chief Justice Enin Yabua played a disturbing role in a process that served as a premonition of what was to come. On December 15, 2021, I wrote a post on Facebook with the title Twists and Turns in Anas Kennedy Ejapon's case with documentary evidence. I wrote, the following are the facts I gathered from my sources as an explanation to the following documents. Number one, Anas Admiral Anas sued Kennedy Ejapon for defamation in 2018. Two, Justice Daniel Mensah, the Domahine, was the judge handling the case. Third one, in the latter part of 2020, Justice Daniel Mensah was transferred to Tema, a court of appeal judge. Justice Eric Ban was appointed interim judge to handle the case pending the appointment of a substantive judge. Number four, in June 2021, a substantive judge was appointed to continue the case. I am told she is Justice Gifty J. Adu, the judge who overturned the General Legal Counsel suspension of Francis Xavier Sosu from practicing as a lawyer. Number five, on December 1, 2021, Anas and his team discovered in court that the substantive judge had been taken off the case, and the interim judge had returned. They had no idea what had happened. They were given an explanation. On the blind side of Anas and his legal team, Kennedy Japan had written to the Chief Justice to request that the interim judge should return to continue the case. Are you following? Are you following? Number one, the reason Kennedy Ejapong and his lawyers gave was that the interim judge had observed the demeanor of the parties and is abreast with the details of the case, including its nature and scope. The substantive judge, Kennedy Ejapong, said will take time to familiarize herself with the case. She also does not have the benefit of the demeanor of the witnesses so far. Two, a week after receiving Kennedy Ejapong's letter, Chief Justice Enin Yabua directed Justice Eric Ban to go back and continue the case as Kennedy Ejapong requested in his letter to the Chief Justice. When Anas and his legal team expressed their confusion upon seeing the interim judge in court, Justice Eric Ban said he'd been directed by the Chief Justice to continue the case. He added that Anas and his team were expected to have been served with Kennedy Ejapong's petition and the Chief Justice directive, but that was not done. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm wondering whether it's normal for one party in a case to write to the Chief Justice to suggest a judge without the knowledge of the other party in the field and have that wish granted. I asked the same question yesterday. In fact, a few days back too. That is what Manasseh is asking. That's what he's asking. Eric Barr is unable to continue working as a judge. Won't the case continue with another judge who may not know the demeanor of the witness? He's asking questions. Having risen to the Supreme Court and elevated as the head of Ghana's judiciary, Chief Justice Enin Yabua must be familiar with the popular legal axiom propounded by Lord Hewart, a former Lord Chief Justice of England. He said, it is not merely of importance, but is of fundamental importance that justice should not only be done, but should manifestly and undoubtedly be seen to be done. Lord Hewitt. In the case of Rex versus Sussex justices added, nothing is to be done which creates even a suspicion that there has been an improper interference with the course of justice. Is it judicial terrorism? A man brings somebody, he's the plaintiff. This is the defendant. You said I'm a murderer. You said I'm a thief. You said I am an adulterer. In fact, you defamed me. And court says, yes, you are an extortionist. Even your work, you don't know it. You are not an investigative journalist. You are an investigative terrorist. And the whole thing looked like Anas Admiral Anas was now the defendant. And Kennedy Ejapon was the plaintiff. And going around it, we realized that Kennedy Ejapon and his lawyers actually handpicked this judge and recommended him to the CJ, the Chief Justice, to sit on the case. And boom, this is what he's been able to deliver. Come here. In the past, Anas Admiral Anas investigated some judges from the High Court and beyond. And he caught a lot of them taking goats to free hardened criminals. Bribe. Such cheap judges. Are they being vindictive now? Is it a way to bite back at Anas? Is Anas actually a blackmailer and a terrorist? Ghanaians are laughing. Is it another case of a goat justice? You are the lawyers, you know better. Educate us. But this case stinks. Dash it away. The last story, and I'm gone. I have just 1 minute to look at this. Christian ATSU'S wife's emotional tribute. People were expecting the wife of Christian ATSU, a former Black Stars stalwart player, a philanthropist, very interesting personality. He died in an earthquake in Turkey where he was playing international football. It was our prayer that he'll be found. First, we heard that he had been found and he was recovering in a hospital. Then we heard his shoes had been found. Oh, we heard this finally. His dead body was flown to us. People expected the wife to come home, but she was not coming. People, most of the time, especially Africans, they try to dictate to people how they should mourn. She was closest to ATSU, and she knew the man more than us. She finally appeared at the funeral. And she penned a very emotional tribute. She couldn't even read it. She was crying, and they had to come and take it away from her. As you see the sister standing by her in the photograph to read the tribute. Now let's just look at what the tribute says. You did not go alone, for part of me went with you. Read the touching tribute of ATSU'S wife. Marie-Claire Rupio, the wife of late Ghanaian footballer Christian ATSU Chasam, has penned a touching tribute as her husband and father of, as her husband and father of 3 children is laid to rest on Friday, March 17. ATSU'S lifeless body was found on Saturday, February 18, after over a week of search following a deadly earthquake in Turkey. Some 50,000 lives were lost. Over 50,000 lives were lost. 50,000. Wow. A burial and Thanksgiving service is being held at the forecourt of the State House for family, friends, and loved ones to pay their final respects. Marie-Claire Rupio's tribute to her husband eulogizes him. It reads in part, "You are always on my side. You were always so full of life. You seem to be immortal. Your smile, your love. I see you in our children's smile. This is the tribute. Dash it away. The part I would like to share with you, the part that touched me, part of me left with you, that I see you in our children's smiles. In other words, anytime the children smile, it is because you made it possible for them to smile. Whatever you left behind, the children are living that. What a tribute. What a tribute. Beautiful children. Beautiful children. We love them. We love the children. We pray for the blessing of the Almighty Father on them. Anyone who can help, even though they have not asked for help, but everybody needs help in one way or the other. Bless them. Dash it away. This has been the Blakk Pot, aka Kukushonamo. Do us a favor. We are on YouTube. Our channel is called Blakk Empire Media. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube page and click on the notification button. We are also on all other social media platforms as Instagram, as Twitter, and of course, Facebook. Follow us and keep the family growing. I love you for loving me. And our numbers are also rolling on the screen. Do business with us. We want to do business with you. Call us and let's do business. Hey! Power! Power!